I'm on a quest to find music and art. Supporting local talent is the place I start. Yeah, this is our culture, the place to be. Games, books, arts and crafts and jewelry. This the guardians of the geekery. 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 And now for today's episode of Guardians of the Geekery with your hosts, Matt, Carol, and Joey.
All right, Guardians of the Geekery, we are back, and it is wonderful. Every time we come back in the season, I just get so excited. The Geekery Market's back. When are we going to have this wonderful event again? It is Saturday, November 15th, 2025, and it is again at the Cabarrus Arena and Event Center. When somebody just treats you right, a venue treats you right, you just keep going back because it's just a great place. And what's the cost of the event? A lot of people are like, I don't know, I don't have enough money, times are tough. Yeah, get a Geeker's guy. It's a big old free 99, we call it. But if you could bring in a canned good, look through your cupboards and your places. I know times are tough all around, but if you've got a canned good, maybe that can of Spam was just a little too salty, and you've got an extra one there that's sealed. Bring that on in. We'll take it. We don't care. Whatever you.
We know you have cans of creamed corn and yams in your cupboard somewhere. Come on, bring them.
That's right, Carol. You tell them.
Just bring them all down.
If you haven't attacked that in 6 months, I mean, it's sort of like a storage space. Like after a while, you're like, "What's in the storage space? Why am I paying all this money for this?" So yeah, just bring it in, make up some room in your cupboard, and it really helps out our charity, which again is the second food bank, and they do just such a wonderful job. Just pushing that. And parking, it is $10 per car, so bring your whole family, friends, neighbors, homeless people, put them all in there, and then you can pull your resources, and then you have optimal money to spend at the Geekery Market. But hey, this episode is one of our favorite returning folks. It is Space Wizards Science Fantasy, which I just love. I don't think it gets enough love sometimes. The sci-fi, which I love science fiction, but that sci-fi fantasy moniker always brings a smile here. So welcome. Really appreciate you being with us, and I love seeing all the books right behind you. That's a good sign of a publisher and also an author and a reader, which is all.
That's right. Yeah. So this is one of our bookcase. We have a whole bunch of other ones in the other room. But yeah, William C. Tracy, owner of Space Wizards Science Fantasy. And yeah, the name is definitely science fantasy because I like to have that sort of intersection. Some of my first books were right in the middle of that sort of magic and aliens, and like to really mush all that together and have lots of genre crossovers.
And sometimes it mushrooms, right?
Yeah, sometimes mushrooms. Yeah. There's.
He writes about so much about mushrooms. He's a real fun guy. You had to go there. Had to go there. So, William, this is your third time with us?
Yeah, I think so. I think third.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
cool.
Angel's very excited about that. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. For those of you listening to the audio podcast, you are missing my dog licking my face while I'm trying to have a serious conversation with a fellow publisher and author. You know, it's just fun. But it's all part of the romance. So make sure you go to the YouTube or to the charlottegeeks.com website so you can see that live action. So
yeah, that flipping tongue action there.
So this is your, because you've only been to the Cabarrus Center, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is great. Yeah, I love that. It's a nice area, nice little market in there.
Yeah, nice venue, lots of parking. I think it's like 3,000 parking spaces now that they have available. We will be in Event Center B. If you don't know where that is, we'll have a huge banner on the front of the building, as well as a 16-foot inflatable dragon. So if you go to the hot tub convention or the cheerleading convention, both which have happened in other buildings in past years, I haven't asked this year if there are other events happening that same day, but you're in the wrong place. Come on back, find the inflatable dragon, walk inside. But 3,000 square feet of geeky goodness. So 30,000 square feet of
Yeah.
geeky goodness, not 3,000. My
30.
goodness. Over
always-
80 different booths that we're going to have available. And definitely Bill's will be one of them. So make sure that you go and check that out. And I know that you had last year when we were getting ready for this, you had a ongoing Kickstarter campaign, and you were working on some RPG. I said it in the correct order the third time. Books. But you also had a new Kickstarter and even more books this year. So
Yep.
tell us a little bit about some of the new stuff that you're coming out with, both personally and as a publisher, and some of the stuff that they will only exclusively be able to get at the Geekery market because it won't be published before then.
Right. Yeah, we're actually doing even more stuff this year because we're nuts. So we're it's on BackerKit, which is basically the same thing as Kickstarter. But we ran a campaign in June. Now, usually what we do is we run one campaign in June, and that's for the entire year. But this year, because we're nuts, we're running one in June, we're running another in September, and we're actually running another one in November to December, so it'll start right after the Geekery. So the first one, the good side of this is the rather than us doing all this work, the one in June is actually was smaller. So we only published the first 7 books that we're putting out this year rather than all 14. But those 7, the plus side of this means all the people who backed it are getting their books by the end of the year, rather than the shipping sort of went out further last time or the previous times because we have to ship all the way to next June. So this time what happens is I believe all those books are going to be available by the market. So I should have copies of all 7 new books. I have one I can show you because I just got the first one in. This is which it's a novella. This is the first one we put out. I love this story. And I have to keep saying this because my copy editor, I sent it to her and she sent it back like a day later and said, "Well, I finished it in 2 hours and cried at the end." So, I guess. But it's a like cozy ace relationship with an android. It's a fun little story, sort of bittersweet. So that one's out now, and then we have a whole bunch of cool stuff coming. I'm gonna read you give you a summary real quick. So this is what's the new stuff that's going to be available. The next one coming out in 2 weeks is Waves Take Your Bones, and this is like high fantasy, high seas adventure with zombies. And I love the cover of this. If you go to our Space Wizard website, the cover's on there. It's an amazing cover. It's got a ship and got zombies on it and all sorts of stuff. And the next one after that is this like gonzo weird sci-fi colony story that's also a novella called It's You, Isn't It? And it's told in second person. It's sort of like talking to this person, you don't know who it is. And so that's sort of the mystery of the story. It's really interesting, got some cool aliens in it. But that's another novella. That one's going to be coming out. We'll have that one soon. That's coming out mid-August. After that one is Crying Out for Magic, which if you like Heartstopper, this is like Heartstopper, but with magic. So it's a sort of meet cute, 2 teens find each other. It's obviously gay, so it's, fits in the queer repertoire. Really love that one. That's currently my wife's favorite of the new releases. And then we have a second book in a series called Relic of Haven. If you saw last year, we had the book with the giant crabs on it. Everybody loves the giant crabs. So this is the second one. First one was called Empress of Dust. This one is Relic of Haven, and it has a giant jellyfish on the cover. So go look at that one on the website. And then we have another new one, which if you like Star Trek and Babylon 5, which who doesn't? The reason I picked this up is because it's like just falling into those episodes. It's called A New Beginning. It's actually by is Moments in Tea going to be there? They may actually be at the Geekery. So
Yes.
Yes.
so that's Ed's book. That's Ed's first book. So he's going to be
Awesome.
there. Yep, he's going to be another vendor. So you can get it. You can get the book. You can get it signed by Ed there.
So what you're telling me is we need to put the tea people next to you
Yeah.
so you can just hand across the way.
Right.
All right. I'll
Right.
make a note for that when we do
Yeah.
layout. So
Yeah. And then the last one that I should have is the sequel to my book, Physical Magic, which came out last year and has a tiny eldritch octopus in it. So the new one is called Intent Magic, and that one I should have advanced copies of that one just in time.
awesome. Awesome.
So I have to ask, how did you
Yeah.
get started in the publishing business? I'm assuming you were a writer first and a publisher second, and you just decided, what the hell, I'm just going to publish my own stuff.
Yeah, basically. It was I actually went on a writing excuses retreat, a cruise. We went on 3 of them, which was great, in 2015 to 2017. And after the last, they always have like authors, and they have editors and publishers and agents and stuff. So, you know, listen to everybody. It was a great education. And then 2017 was the last one, and at that point, it was like self-publishing was sort of starting to take off really on as its own thing. And I'm like, I haven't really gotten any agent bites. I could do this. So I started self-publishing my stuff. And then in COVID, my writing, I have a really strong writing group that we do a whole bunch of stuff together and online. But we were all bored. So in 2020, we all wrote short stories and decided to put together an anthology. And that was Distant Gardens, which, if you've been there before, we have the lesbian anthologies, which are really popular. So that was the first one, is Distant Gardens. That's actually just my writing group. All of those stories are actually, I think almost all of them are connected to other books that I publish now. So it was just my writing group having fun in COVID. That was the first book that I published that wasn't my own, because I already had everything set up for self-publishing. And then it just sort of devolved from
Balloon
there.
from there.
Yeah, I opened up to submissions, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll get a few. And yeah, it's been
100.
constant. I actually had to close to new submissions for now because my releasing schedule is out until 2028 now.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
And you
That
do a
is
lot of it
cool.
based on Kickstarter, right? Have you
Yeah.
always
Or-
done it
or on
based on
fundraiser?
Kickstarter?
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
was that a
campaign
later
fundraiser.
on? And can
That
you
was-
kind of, just out of curiosity,
Yeah.
what do you think the benefits of doing it through Kickstarters is versus just going ahead and traditionally publishing it and
Yeah.
then, kind of going from there? Why do you choose to do it that way versus, just going and publishing it? And
Yeah.
I realize that,
Hoping
Go
you
ahead.
sell enough books to make your money back.
Right. Yeah, and I get that question from my new authors too, is like, you're doing what? How are you gonna do this? But well, we have a record now, so that's good, because I've done 7 or 8 crowdfunding campaigns now, and 3 this year, so that'll put me up around 10.
Wow.
They've all been successful. I haven't ever failed one. Started out with the first book. Well, not the first book. I put out 2 novellas, and then the first novel that I put out, I was like, let's do a Kickstarter campaign. We'll see how it goes, and ended up getting over $3,000 on it for art and publishing, good covers and stuff like that. So basically, that was still self-publishing. So that let me start out at zero. Everything was paid for, and I'm an analyst too, so I've got all the money stuff in the background. So I'm accounting for people actually buying books and paying them and paying me and getting everything covered. So that's how I put together the campaigns. Is it basically pays for the books that I'm buying as rewards and everything else, and then also pays us enough to get the covers and any art and editing and anything else that we need. So that's developed over time. This latest one, we now have another copy editor, so that was added in. So now that pays for copy editing for all the books that are coming out. So it basically just sets everything at 0. So now I don't pay advances. I'm still a very small press, but everybody who starts with their book, they already have some pre-orders from the campaign. So that's like a instant, you're getting money from that. And then, because I'm paying the authors for the stuff in the campaign even before the books come out. And then after that, the book's all paid for. I'm debt free for that book, and then I can start selling it immediately, and it immediately goes to profit. So it's worked really well so far. It's we've started getting into the finance cycle of how this works, and it's publishing obviously is a whole different thing because you're paid sort of whenever. But this is a nice, like, we know where the campaign is, we know how much it is, we know we're getting that money, and we can organize how I pay for covers, because I like to put a lot of effort and really have nice starting really vibrant covers. So I want to make sure those are, and the authors and the artists for those are well paid. So I want to make sure I pay everybody and get everything ready to go.
Must be nice for like a new author if they're picked up to know that you're starting out crowdfunded, so you're already selling some books. You're already at a level where you've sold some books.
Right.
Because I know a lot of people who self-publish are like, well, now I've got 500 books. What do I do with them?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Yeah,
and it just confirms the appetite for the
Yes.
Right.
the genre, the subject matter, that people actually want these kind of stories, because you are voting for the art that's available with your dollars, right?
Yeah.
So it's one way to make sure that being a small business author and an independent thinker is a sustainable life.
Right.
I think especially in the socioeconomic world that we live in right now, it's a key way to make sure that people are not silenced, because if you are supporting the arts the way that we all should be, you're ensuring that it's going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah. And I've actually, that this year especially, I have had a lot of people looking to buy independent books, buying queer books, and I think the whole stuff with Amazon that's been going on forever.
Yeah.
Especially this year though, people are actually looking for that. So I've had really good markets this year for the ones I've done. Con Carolinas was really good. I did a whole bunch of Pride stuff, which was just more than last year. So like people are buying independent creations and queer creations and things like that, which is I'm really thankful for. And that's, like you said, the crowdfunding is a good test where I can see like how many of each book is purchased. And that helps me too as a vendor, because I sell all these books and I have, my own pitch for the book. And this is me sort of testing it out and seeing what works and seeing how to sell that book. And so, like you said, it gives the author some confidence. Yes, you sold some books. Here they are. And then I also pay, I pay royalties on their books that I sell at conventions too. So that's it's a good way to sort of mesh everything together and see what the atmosphere is.
Yeah, and I think now is a great time to just point out that one of the things about the geekery market that those of us who organize it hold very dear is we are a open and inclusive market.
Yes.
We want to make sure that, whether you're a Star Trek fan or a Star Wars fan, whether you are any color of the rainbow, no matter who you are, no matter what you are welcome here. And we are not a place for hate. The only thing we hate is that there is homelessness and there is food scarcity issues across the world. And we want to do something to solve that, and support those people who are out there building their crafts and building small businesses. So just know that we will, if there are any incidents that come up, and they do come up, Bill
They
is
do.
firsthand knows about that, we will address it. So this is a safe space for everyone. And we want you to come and spend your dollars supporting the arts you love. This is why we make the event free, because we are not making a profit off of this. Trust me, we are not making a profit. Now,
No.
like you, we've got that little bit of financial background, so we are not taking a loss for this.
Right.
But you know, we all collaborate together. The way that we structure and finance the market is we, along with the vendors, partner together. And I have budgeted exactly what it costs to put an event like this on, and we all cover the cost together. So it's a net zero event. Anything that we make goes directly to Second Harvest. We sanction that out from the expenses. The dollars go directly to a QR code that goes directly to the organization. We don't, that's not any cash that you give us goes into my account long enough for me to go online and put it into the organization. The food does not stay at our house because, first of all, y'all donate way too much. So we're thankful for that. It was the equivalent of 21,000 pounds last year. So 5.5 tons or whatever it was. So we're
Those barrels
definitely
get really heavy.
10.5
They get
tons,
really
sorry.
heavy.
Yeah, so it's not it does not stay in our house. We take it out. The market ends on Saturday. We take it to Second Harvest on Monday because they're not open on Sunday.
Yeah.
So but yeah, so I'm 100% a supporter of being sustainable. And I think that others who are trying, especially in this economy, you have to have that hustle. And I think that crowdfunding is an excellent way to establish a good, consistent pattern. So you're not putting yourself in the hole for your craft. You're making sure that there is a appetite and a market for it. And you're making it so that people aren't like going, oh, remember when so-and-so used to make those? I wonder whatever happened,
Yeah.
Whatever happened was you didn't buy it when they made it. So
Yeah.
so
It's
buy
really,
it. And I do think there's a huge value in having the printed written word right now.
Yes.
I think with AI and everything, not to be an Orwellian, but it's too easy to change things. If it's printed, it's there. What is said is there. And somebody can't go through a terminal and change it and say, oh no, they wrote this, not that, so and there's just something cozier about the written word anyway, and just detaching from electronica for a little while and just turning pages. So
and I have a lot of people who come up to the booth and they're like, well, I do read ebook, but I always like to have the paperback copy. And I have a lot of people who back the campaigns too that are like, I because I send out an ebook with every paperback that I if you back the campaign with the paperback, you get the ebook. So everybody is, a lot of them read on ebook, but they want to get the paperback so they have it and get it signed by the author and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
us geeks, we love to hoard our books.
Yep.
Yes.
And
we do.
I was gonna say, for another shiny, because I'll have to give you the links for these, because like I said, I have 2 more campaigns coming up, one in September, one in November, December. So the one in September is actually our sequel to last year's, and I did not have the book out at the time. Lesbians in Space, Where No Man Has Gone Before. And for the shiny, we actually funded the hardback version in the campaign, which is very pretty.
Oh, it is pretty.
Yeah, so we got these in June. We have a limited run. We did a run, and it has the sprayed edges too.
Whoa.
And color pictures, and it's really fancy. So we have what is remaining of this, and you can see they are individually numbered. This is number 90 of 100. We have 1 batch of these. We filled the campaign. We have a few left. So we will have some of these at the event, and that is all there is of the hardback. Now we have the paperback, but if you want the fancy shiny hardback, come to the event.
You got to come to the market.
Yep. And
well,
that's when
and pre-order.
Yes,
Right?
pre-order.
Yes.
So the event in September is going to be for the second one, because we got too many stories. So this is going to be Lesbians in Space, The Sapphic Strike Back, which is the second book. So if you want to fund that one and help us get a fancy hardback of that one, go to the campaign in September, because that's your best chance to do that. And if we fund it like we did last year, we're going to get another one of these.
Nice.
That is awesome. And I have to commend you on your covers. I know it's kind of difficult sometimes for self-publishers to get those really just like eye-catching covers, but all of your books are just so wonderful to look at.
Yeah. I have people who literally come across the room and I was like, oh, I love your covers.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with that is I have a lot of people who come up and are like, well, I don't read, but I really like your covers. I'm like, all right,
Well, look it
fine.
on your shelf. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, we will have your pre-order link on the show notes. We will also have an article coming out about you in the next couple weeks as well with notes about pre-orders. So make sure that you go and check that on. It's one of the best ways to make sure that that thing that you see us talking about is there for you, is by going ahead and paying for it in advance. So Bill will not sell it some other convention between now and November.
Yeah.
And
this
it
one
helps out
actually,
the artists too, because then they know that their table is, you know, you're starting to defray their costs of traveling out there because they pay for the table, they pay for their gas. And you know, it helps them out. Plus, I just would like to point out our event being November 15th is just in time for all the winter holidays, whichever ones you celebrate. So if you want to do some seasonal shopping or for yourself or somebody else, listen, buy yourself your own Christmas gift. That way, you know, no matter what, you'll have one gift that you will be so happy about. I do it for myself every year. But you know, it's a great way to support the author now so that they can continue on, that they'll have the funds to continue to be out there in the market. And just making sure, oh, hi, kitty. Hi, kitty. If that's not a
somebody finally
flirkin,
woke up.
right? That is a cat.
That
I
is
don't know.
actually.
We'll see.
I had to look behind me. Is it one of mine or no?
No,
You're
that's
used to mine. You're used to
that's
mine.
Again,
that's
if
the
you're on the audio, you're missing out on Bill's adorable cat who is sprawled out behind him currently. But
he is the calmer one. The other one runs about 100 miles a minute.
Yeah, got one of those too.
But yeah, so on the website, I forgot to say, you can also order the hardback. We have that on the website. We have limited quantities. So if you want one of these, that's a good way to pre-order these as well to make sure you get one before they're gone.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you don't want to pay the shipping, if you want to help, you know, save on that, just let them know you'll be at the Geekery market and then you can go by. Plus, market math, right? We talk about this all the time, Carol. If you pay for it now, when
It's
you
kinda
go
like
to
it's
the market,
free.
it's like free money.
Yeah.
It's free stuff. So, you know, you get to go around and then you can take your budget for that week and spend it on other stuff at Bill's table. So, you know, go ahead and pay for it now, and then you'll have more money to spend on Bill's table in November. So,
And I guarantee when you go to pick it up, you're going to see another book that you want to go with it.
Or, you know, I have 2 of your candles here. I've got a couple of your keychains. So, you know, even if you don't read a book, there's still something on his table that you can buy, but read a book. Okay.
And we will probably have a little bit. I had a bumper plum harvest this year, and I have regular plum, rose plum, fig plum, and blackberry plum jam. And I may have a few left. So come ask me about those too. Yeah.
Unless I go and order them now. So we should check that out, right? Well, Bill, it is always so much of a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much. Between now, which is July 30th, in the market.
Wait, what?
Not quite yet.
July 30th. Tell us a couple of places that you're going to be where they might see you between now and then, if they can't wait and they want to get that plum jam.
Yes, exactly. Well, next month we're going to be at Worldcon in Seattle, and I actually just shipped most of my inventory to one of my authors there. So we're going to be there. We'll have a booth. If you happen to be coming to Seattle, we'll have a booth down in the dealer's room. We are also, I'm putting together this right now. We're going to have a queer scavenger hunt there, and you can get a special sticker that I literally just designed this morning if you go do the scavenger hunt. But that's if you can't get to Seattle. In September, I'm going to be doing at least 3 more Pride events: Pride Durham, Pride Holly Springs, and Pride Greensboro. So if you're anywhere around North Carolina, get to one of those. I'll be at those markets, and then I'll have a couple little things scattered here and there. Couple things in October before I get to the Geekery market. So yeah.
So make sure to check it out. Tell us your website once again.
Yep. Go to spacewizardsciencefantasy.com and you'll see all the links to everything there.
It's short and sweet and rolls right off the tongue. So
That's right.
just remember Space Wizards Science Fantasy. It's SWSF.
Yep.
And
There you go.
and go and visit it, pre-order, and we will see you in November. Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah, we'll see you then. Right.
That was an episode of Guardians of the Geekery. Thank you for listening. Check us out at guardiansofthegeekery.com and stay tuned for more content.